Hi there, my name is Sherry Rothwell, and welcome to this webinar. I'm so excited that you've decided to join me and that you are attracted to the idea of losing more than just the weight, because that's what this training is all about. It's not just about letting go of the physical body weight, but also it's about letting go of the extra weight, the emotional baggage, the stuff that's holding you back, dragging you down in your life as part of the process of letting go of the physical weight. So you may right now be in an experience in your life where you're not really feeling like you're living up to your best potential. You're probably settling in your life for things. And doing that is causing your body to scream out to you that something isn't right. Okay? So I've been in your shoes. I have struggled with my weight, and I created this training so that I could help you make the connection between letting go of the weight physically and letting go of the weight emotionally. Because I believe that when you let go of the weight, you should be actually transforming your life, not just, going back to the old body that you had, because you don't want to just go back to the old life that you have, right? Your body speaks to you through the symptoms that you have. And when your body is showing you that it is in protection mode, which is essentially what is happening when you are holding on to weight. Your body fat is literally crying out to you, screaming out to you that something's not right, and actually creating a protective barrier around you in a physical way and an emotional way. And so if you're here on this training, you were attracted to my approach. However you got here, you got an email from me, or you saw an ad on Facebook, or a friend shared this with you. Somehow you got on this training through synchronicity, because this is something that resonates with you. Energetically, it has fallen into your lap as the solution for the struggle that you've been facing with your weight. Now, of course, there's a ton of different things and different approaches out there to let go of the weight. And, a lot of them work. Not many of them work for a long time. They're not sustainable. Now, this approach, why it works, is because we're going beyond letting go of the physical weight, going into the emotional weight, which means that you actually transform your life in the process. So you're not going to go back to the old you, the old way that you've lived, the old stuff that you've settled for and put up with. All right, so I'm just going to share my screen with you to get started. I have some slides. And let's see here. It's going to go in a little bit of slow motion. My internet, it looks like. Okay. All right. So, like I said, this is about more than just dropping the physical weight, but dropping the emotional weight. So we're looking at this whole entire approach to letting go of the weight as being physical and emotional. It could be mental, it could be spiritual. Like, it could be a lot of different things. It could be relational in your life. Okay. So you're in the right place if you have a strong sense that chronic stress, the chronic stress of maybe unfulfilled dreams or unfulfilled expectations, could be a huge trigger for your weight gain. Especially if you're watching this and you're pushing 40, or you're already 40, or maybe you're beyond 40, and you're sitting in a place where your life isn't what you thought it would be at this point. And that can be a massive drain, an emotional drain, to look at your life in that way, to see your life like you thought you would be at a certain place, and you believed that you had to be at that place by this age in your life, or your life is no longer, an open playing field. That's a super draining belief system, right? At any point, you can completely change your life. It doesn't matter if you're 40, 50, 60, 70, you have the potential to create your dream life. And you have the potential to be the most beautiful version of you, the most healthy version of you possible. Okay? But that thought can be a chronic stress of this idea, like, my life is passing me by, and oh my God, what if I've missed the boat, right? You might feel that your extra weight is a physical manifestation of holding on to things that are long overdue, time to let go of. Okay, we settle for too long, right? And as women or as mothers, we have a lot of primal needs for security that cause us to put up with things much longer for the fear of safety, right? For the fear of, not being able to put a roof over our head and be able to take care of our children, for example. We've been programmed to believe that a man needs to take care of us. Now that comes from television, right? So we have this like picture of how life is supposed to be based on what the media tells us through the movies we watch, right? But then we also have these primal things, right? Like the fact that we truly, in a more tribal state, instead of this like North American way of living, if you happen to be a North American watching this, but even just a modern way of living, that we are, it really goes against our instincts, right? Because we're meant to live in tribes and in communities. So it can be very scary for a woman to let go of the securities in her life. And usually that's in the form of a male partner who maybe is not the right person for you, but you've settled for way too long. Okay, you've put up with way too much crap, and maybe energetically that relationship is emotionally harming you and energetically harming you. And one of the ways you can, your body can protect you from that is to actually put on layers of fat as a cushion energetically to protect you from that abusive situation that you may be experiencing living in a relationship in which you feel like you're not honored, that you're trapped, okay? And that fear, that primal fear is keeping you from making a change. As I mentioned, that you can have that emotional and psychic abuse as well. So whether it's the relationship or, it doesn't have to be your partner. Maybe your partner is not the stress that is causing you to hold on to the weight. Maybe you are in a job you hate. Maybe you don't feel like you're living your life on purpose. Maybe you have a boss or a coworker that is psychically or energetically draining you or actually assaulting you, right? It's like we really do get impacted by the mood and the feelings that people have about us and project onto us. And so you may be feeling stuck right now in a situation that you can't get out of, and that is another reason why your body would hold on to fat to physically protect you from that person, or maybe to not just shield you or buffer that energy, but to puff you up in a way to protect yourself, right? We have all sorts of reasons why we will hold on to the fat. Sometimes women have fear of just like walking down the street and being beautiful, right? And what that means and how uncomfortable that can be, right? Like, when I was 176 pounds, when I walked down the street, I didn't notice men looking at me all the time, okay? It was more comfortable, right? Now, at the weight I'm at, I really notice that like, I'll just be walking down the street and like literally men turn their head to look, right? That might scare you. And, it is uncomfortable. However, it's your perspective of how you want to look at it, right? It's like, okay, we can appreciate one another's beauty. Just because a man turns his head to look at you because you're female and you're radiating attraction, right? Like you're radiating your beauty and he's appreciating that doesn't mean, he's a rapist or an asshole, right? But because of the experiences that we've had as women, we can be afraid of the attention that we might get from men by being our most beautiful selves physically, right? You might also know that you have negative emotions that you've not been able to let go of, stuff that you've carried from the past traumas, baggage from relationships or, things that you've gone through in your life that you haven't healed, right? All of that is like, it's an energetic weight and it can manifest in a physical weight as well to tell you as your body's screaming, hello, you have shit that you haven't dealt with. And I'm speaking to you about that because I want you to address it so you can let it go and be light, right? Like live your life, not just physically light, but like emotionally light, right? Without all these negative projections from experiences in the past, because when we put those in the future, we keep ourselves from being able to create a different future, right? We just keep recreating the past out of the emotions that we're feeling today. And those emotions that are negative are mostly from past experiences that we've had that haven't been brought to light to be healed, right? And then we have the mindsets, right? You have programming from your parents, from your extended family, from your community, from your teachers when you were in elementary school and high school, from maybe people who have influenced you in your life, in your, people that you looked up to, but maybe they didn't have the most empowering belief systems, right? And those belief systems are keeping you stuck, and not being able to change the parts of your life that are, keeping you weighed down right now. And, so letting go of the weight is not just about letting go of the fat. It's letting go of all of the stuff that's holding you back and keeping you down. You're likely here as well because you are attracted to the idea of letting go of the weight without having to give up, the time in your life to focus on food, right? Because we all know people who are really focused on dieting and obsessed with body image and things like that are, always counting calories, they're counting their carbs, their fat grams, they are always restricting themselves or obsessed with over exercising, etc. And you don't want that, right? You want something that is sustainable, that you can maintain, that's pleasurable. You also don't want to let go of, on the note of being pleasurable, of foods that are rich, sweet, and creamy, right? These are pleasures that we have primarily been built into us that are not bad things, okay? As soon as we put eating these pleasurable foods in the category of being bad, not only do we want them more, but we have an emotional connection to the food that is actually telling our body that we're taking in something that's harming us. And our body follows our mind, right? So we need to, in order to let go of the weight, we also, on the physical level, have to also let go of mindsets about food that we may not be aware of, that we have picked up from society that have caused us to relate to food in the wrong way, and then therefore caused our body to respond negatively to the food that we're eating. So it really is possible to, let go of the weight without giving up the rich, sweet, creamy comfort foods you love. Those are the ones that are satiating, right? The major, if I could say, if somebody asked me on a physical level, what allowed you to release the weight, I would say, I ate fat to let go of fat, right? And fat is the most nutrient, or satiating food that you could possibly eat. And so it fills in so many of the gaps of the things that cause us to crave and also to eat emotionally, right? And the problem actually with most people's diets is they're not eating enough fat. So what if you could let go of more than just the extra physical weight, but also let go of the weight of the world and drop the stuff that's been draining you and holding you back from living your dreams, okay? If that's how you want to relate to letting go of the weight, then you're an ideal client for me, okay? Because that's the kind of client that I want to work with. Okay? I want to work with someone who is more than just wanting to go at the surface level, right? I have programs that are just programs that will help you let go of the weight on the physical level. And, I understand that not everybody wants to really go deep and let go of those emotions and undo those limiting belief systems and decide that they're going to live their life on purpose and change their lives, transform their lives, get on the path to living their dreams or make a living doing what you love or whatever. I understand that. I have programs for people like that. But my ideal private clients are people who want to go all the way, right? If you know that you're the kind of person who is, likes to take things to the highest level possible, that you have, high expectations for your life, and you don't want to settle, then, this program is for you, because you need to literally go into your life and look at it in order to transform it. Okay. and just letting go of the physical weight, we can get the weight off, okay, without doing all this emotional work. Yeah, it is true. We can. But it's not going to transform your life, okay? Because what a lot of people find is that they can force the weight off and they can be thin and they can look more beautiful, but it's actually their inner world that's creating their outer worlds. And so they're not any happier, and they don't feel more confident, and they don't feel more worthy, and they're still putting up with shit in their life, right? So, this is for you if you want to go a lot farther, if you want to go all the way. Okay, so, how amazing would it be if you could just like drop all the stuff that's draining you, right? Like you would have a lot more time and a lot more energy to devote to pleasure and doing things you love and like sucking the joy out of life and really living, right? Like as far as we know, you only have one life. So live it to the fullest. What did you come here for? You didn't come here to be a people pleaser. You didn't come here to make your mother-in-law happy. You didn't come here to make your husband happy, okay? You didn't even come here to make your children happy. In fact, it's your responsibility as a mother to model how to make yourself happy and live to your potential so that your children automatically are programmed to have that too. Okay? So a lot of times as moms, we make excuses, that we use our children as excuses for why we can't have the life that we dream of, but actually that's harmful, okay? And you don't want your daughter to live like that. Okay? What would it feel like if, you felt on top of everything on your plate, okay? And that what was on your plate is stuff you loved, okay? You get to feel organized finally, right? There's just, too many shoulds that we have and have tos, right? And all those shoulds and have tos in our life cause us to go into resistance and not actually get the most important things done, okay? And then we feel unorganized and then drained and unable to take on the things that really matter. Okay, these are patterns, and they're run by belief systems that we have from our childhood. Okay, like what would it be like if you were living on purpose every day? So you figured out like what it is that, creating your day that would give you fulfillment so that you get to have your dream life now, not put it off somewhere in the future. This is a major issue that people tend to have. I had this issue for the longest time. I feel like, okay, it took me to almost 40 to understand this. And sometimes I think, God, like I wish I got this so much sooner in my life, but I got it when I got it. And, I'm here to tell you that you can live in a total place of happiness today, despite anything that's going on in your world, despite the circumstances in your life, okay? You want to have that, okay, in your everyday life, and you want to be creating your dreams, okay? So, you're not going to feel, you're going to feel happiness in every day, but not completely satisfied that, what is in this day is necessarily enough for your entire future. That's settling, right? You want to be satisfied you want to be happy with your life today, but that dissatisfaction that comes up, it comes up to be it's a creative force, right? Because you see something and you're like, that could be better. You feel some dissatisfaction that causes desire to create something new. You want to create your dream life. Okay, that's what you're here for, is to learn how to, wield your power to live the life of your dreams. Okay? And so many of us, and especially once you hit a certain age, start to just like wonder if it's possible anymore to live our dreams. Okay. And that has to stop, right? You need to go into like every decade of your life with dreams and creating more, right? How many people just get to retirement and they are like, okay, that's their goal, is to retire, right? Like, and then what? In order to be fulfilled in life, you have to feel like you are constantly making progress on goals and being creative, right? Like, it's fine to retire and get your retirement, but why not also foster dreams after that, right? And part of being able to do that is to obtain your optimal state of health, right? Because if you get to an age where you're retired, but you're inflamed and you are in pain and suffering, and you have joint issues and you're overweight and you feel tired and exhausted, how fun is it going to be to travel Europe then, right? So I believe that that aging does not equal being sick. I believe that you can be, you can be a hot, radiant, beautiful 40-year-old woman, and you can be a hot, radiant, beautiful 70-year-old woman and sexy, right? Like, it's about how you carry yourself. Okay? And far too many people just give up. They get to a certain age and they think, this is how I'm going to have to look now because I'm getting old. This is how I'm going to have to feel now because this is what happens to old people. I don't believe in that. And if you don't believe in that, or if you want to change your beliefs around that, then I invite you to, stay present to this training and start opening your mind to a new paradigm and opening up to the belief that you truly can live the life of your dreams with the body of your dreams, with a level of health that gives you the energy to live your life on purpose and to, for every decade have incredible goals to accomplish and to feel that satisfied feeling of having accomplished something, and then allow the desire to come up to accomplish more, even more. Okay. So that's another way of, that sometimes we settle in life is to buy into belief systems about aging. Okay. So, you can do all of this. You can live your life on purpose every day, feel pleasure in every day, and be creating your dream life and be totally doing it in style with a gorgeous hot body, okay, that you feel beautiful in, that you have the confidence to wear the clothes that you love and feel absolutely gorgeous in them. And, it's like the beauty on the inside and the outside. Yes. Okay. That is definitely what we're talking about. And that's what, this program working with me addresses. It addresses it on the inside and the outside, whereas most programs just address the weight loss on the outside, right? It feels a lot better to get up every single day and, look at your closet and see the clothes that you really desire to wear. Okay. And, feel like you can express yourself creatively through how you adorn your body. Okay? And when you're in that state where you're feeling frumpy and fat, okay, and frazzled and harried and, drying out, that happens as women, start to move towards the age of 40, okay? That precipice where women often tend to, let things go. You don't just lose, that ability to wear what you want or feel healthy or strong in your body, but you're giving up your inherent feminine powers of attraction. Okay. Your femininity is not just about attracting men. It's about feeling pleasure in yourself as a woman. It's about attracting into your life what you desire by deepening into that femininity. Okay. And so, some people are not attracted to that idea, and they think that, they don't like this idea of, feminine versus masculine. And, if that's you, you're probably not the best client for me, because I feel like being feminine and being a woman is something that I want to embody to the fullest and embrace more. Okay. One of the problems with this idea that, girls can do everything is that women have to do everything, right? It unfortunately translates into that. Because when we, try to be fully masculine and fully feminine at the same time, we're taking on too much, right? That's why women feel in this culture so burnt out. Like, how many single mothers are out there, they're, doing all the feminine stuff, right? Like, they're cooking and cleaning and caring for, loving these children, and then they have to go have a job on top of it, okay? And then embody that masculine side. And they don't get nurtured, right? Like, they're not getting the nurturing that they need to really give to their children. Okay, like when a woman attracts a man in her life that is attracted to her feminine radiance, okay, who doesn't want her to be, a provider, for example, then that woman gets to deepen into her feminine. And do you know how much easier it is to be a happy mother when you like to give to your children, when your man is giving to you, okay? And then with your feminine energy, you give back to him, and it's a circle in the family. But far too many women are, unfortunately, with man-childs, like man-children, okay, who don't do that, who are actually not nurturing and using their masculine radiance, right? Like men radiate an energy as well, right? Like if you look at it this way, like the man is kind of like the sun, right? He radiates a lot of energy, and it's like it recharges your batteries as a woman, right? If you can, deepen into your feminine and attract a masculine man, a good masculine man, and you energize each other, right? And then you're like the moon and you radiate as well. And, you give to him. Okay. And then it's a family, right? And you give back, and in my experience, I was married to a man-child for 20 years. Okay. And, I never felt that nurturing. And I noticed that it was very difficult for me a lot of the time to be like, even physically affectionate with my children. I would feel like their touch sometimes was like, it was grating on me. It was like pulling on me. It was like, I don't have like an ounce to give you, unfortunately, because I don't feel filled up, right? Because I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't putting myself first. And I was settling for a relationship that did not nurture me, okay? So I believe that part of your, this radiating beauty from the inside out is actually embodying your feminine more. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean that you don't we all have masculine and feminine inside of us, obviously. And I have to use the masculine a lot in my life, right? To, put food on the table, to put a roof over my head. Okay. However, it is my intention to continually deepen into looking at how can I be more in a receptive mode, right? How can I receive more? How can I allow myself to attract what I need in my life from my feminine radiance rather than that pushing drive that is more masculine and super draining for us as women, okay? And that's an energy leak that we have in our lives when we're not aware of actually how to use our powers of attraction. And instead we're in the masculine and are pushing and draining our energy. We're literally pushing everything away from us that we want in our life. And we're letting energy drain from us because we're not getting refilled. Okay. And there's many ways of, recharging your batteries. You don't have to be with a partner right now, okay, to have that. Because you are a masculine and feminine being, okay, you can actually utilize the masculine inside of you to nourish and nurture yourself. Okay. Obviously in this training, we don't have the time to go deeply into that. However, I wanted to just share that with you. It felt like it needed to come through. Okay. So, right now, listening to this, you might be feeling overwhelmed with this idea. Like if you have all this baggage in your life, if you have to make a decision about a relationship, you are feeling under-nurtured in your life and in your relationship, and everything is chaotic, okay? You don't know how to eat to let go of the weight. You don't know how to let go of emotional baggage or change your belief systems. You might have no idea where to start, okay? And that feels like a lot of overwhelm. You might be feeling futile, right? Like you tried a lot of different things before. You've dabbled in all these different things, but you feel like you failed because you actually didn't change your life, right? We've all been there. Okay? Part of that is because we all need consistency in this. You can't do something once and expect it to change your life, right? You have to consistently apply something to get change. And that's why coaching is so essential. In areas where you struggle, if you had the answers and if you were going to be able to do it on your own, you would have done it already, right? So, you have to wake up to the fact that you do need help, and we all need help, all of us, right? Nobody who's done anything in this world has made an amazing difference has done it all on their own, right? They've all had people supporting them, okay? But they've been willing to ask for that help. You might be embarrassed, actually. Like you might feel ashamed if somebody knew that you're watching this, because you may have identified with this politically correct crowd of people who want to say stuff like, your weight doesn't matter, okay? When on the outside that intellectually sounds true, right? It's true, like your worthiness has nothing to do with your weight. That is true. But on the inside, that it's holding you back in life in some way. You don't feel beautiful as you could, okay? you feel heavy, weighed down. I know I felt frumpy. That was my major thing. I was like, every day I'd put clothes on or I'd walk past a mirror and I would think like, I feel like I'm just getting like frumpier and frumpier by the day. I invite you to let go of identifying needing approval from that group of people. Okay. There's a lot of people out there who are actually triggered by seeing you step into the highest version of yourself. Like somehow if you were to say, well, I'm not going to settle for that, I'm going to have higher expectations of myself and my life, that they feel somehow threatened by your desire to do that. Okay. Like as though it's telling them that they're wrong for not having those desires. That can really keep us back in life from worrying about what other people think. Okay. So give yourself permission to be comfortable with the truth. The truth is you do care, or you would not be on this training. And you need to surround yourself with people who understand where you're coming from and who understand that your desire to let go of the weight is not because you're a shallow person. Okay. It's because of how it's making you feel on the inside. Okay. And you are not a shallow person from being attracted to this training, because it was partly what resonated with you. It was not just that you didn't have to give up your rich, creamy, sweet foods that you love, but you were attracted to the idea of letting go of more than just the weight. Okay. So just own it. Own that you are the kind of person who wants to do everything you can to be the most beautiful and powerful woman that you possibly can, inside and out. Okay. And of course, you might be feeling alone, right? Because, it's really hard to ask for help, especially around the emotional stuff, right? Like, because to some degree, our culture does actually condone losing weight, right? It's like if you went to a family gathering and you said no to eating a certain food, and people were like, well, why don't you want to eat that? And you said, well, I'm on a diet. They'd go, oh, okay, yeah, I understand. Because they believe in restricting calories as a way of letting go of the weight, right? So they'll support you in that. But if you said, oh, I don't want to eat that because I'm choosing to just eat healthy foods, then, they get threatened by that. Like, again, somehow you're telling them that they're wrong because you have a higher standard in life. So you have to surround yourself with people who have the same belief systems as you, who can hold you in the light of who you want to be, not take advice or, give weight to the opinions of people who are not in alignment with the life that you want to create. Okay. So, watching this, you may not be surrounded by a lot of people who see the world in the way that you do. And I invite you to, join my programs, my community, or work with me privately so that you can surround yourself with women who see life the way that you do and who are on a path to elevating themselves the way you also have chosen to elevate yourself. So I get it. Okay. I've been there. At this picture, I was probably about 166 pounds, I believe, at about this point. Okay. Not as heavy, quite as heavy as I was in my before and after picture. But you can see that I have struggled with being overweight. I wasn't always a size 6. Oh, looks like I have a extra spike in there. So, I'm going to tell you my story now. I'm going to try to do it as quick as possible because I want this to be about you. Okay. So the day I realized, this is the day I realized I was 176 pounds. Here I am with my brother and his son and my 2 cousins. And that day I stepped on the scale at my mom's house, and I didn't have a scale for many, many, many years, right? Because I had just, after having babies, I went from like before, when I got married, it was 125 pounds. And then I had babies, and then I pretty much stayed at 155 pounds after having babies. And I kind of settled for that because I thought, you know what, I'm already eating a healthy diet. I'm already a nutritionist. I eat a whole foods diet. I guess I'm just going to accept 155 pounds because I'm not going to do anything differently. I eat a natural whole foods diet. What more is there to do, right? And I just when I saw, when this happened to me, I went into, honestly, a state of shock. I stepped on that scale and my blood, it was like my blood ran cold. I felt all of it go to my extremities. I went into a state of stress, fight or flight, literally, at seeing the scale, because then I realized what happened. Because you can see what I'm wearing in that picture. I'm wearing clothes that expand with me. All this like, you know, really loose fitting, stretchy clothes. Okay. I don't know why I went into such a state of unconsciousness that I didn't notice this happen, but probably because I was in such a state of unconsciousness around the things that weren't working in my life. Okay. So this is what I had looked like only a few months before that picture. Okay, 155 pounds. That's what it looked like. That's my friend Adrian Percy. And we were at a, some sort of dance class. I can't remember. Some Bollywood style dance exercise thing. Okay, so that's what I basically looked like for most of the time after I had children. Okay, so what the heck happened? Okay, what happened that caused me to gain so much weight, 21 pounds in less than 2 months? Okay, so let me just actually change my screen back so we can make more eye contact here before I go back to this. Let me see. Because I know sometimes it gets tiring to look at a slide all the time. Let's see here. How do I get out? There we go. I'm going to stop the share and then we'll go back. Okay. So, you know, I had been in a marriage for not quite 20 years at this point. Not technically a marriage, but I've been with this person for that long. Okay. We got married after 5 years, so probably about 15 years or so of marriage at this point. And, you know, that entire marriage was really unfulfilling for me. We had some things in common and enough oppositeness that we had a lot of sexual attraction. So in a way, when I looked at my past with this person, I almost felt like I was living a 20-year booty call. Okay. Because there's no real connection. Okay, I was with a man who couldn't handle conflict, wasn't able to have emotional conversations. The only attention that he gave me was mostly sexual. Okay, he just didn't connect on the heart level, right? And when I first met him, I was in a stage of my life where I was doing a lot of drugs. Okay. And I remember literally being high with this guy thinking like, you know, are we going to have anything in common when we don't do drugs anymore? Right. And I was a little concerned because I knew that life was not going to be for me forever. Right. But, you know, as life goes, we make up excuses for people. We shove down those feelings that tell us this is not the right person for us. Right? Once you start putting a lot of time in with somebody, you start getting more and more attached to them, right? And it's difficult to see your life without them. And so you keep putting down and stuffing down the truth that's coming up, right? You know, each one of us we have those moments where we knew, right? Where like, for example, that moment where I was asking myself that question, right? I was asking myself that question for a reason, okay? But I didn't want to tell myself the truth about that. I wanted to, you know, look for ways to justify it. Okay, so, you know, after 5 years of, you know, we'd been married, we had children. One of the things that was a standard for me was that I was not willing to have children and still be smoking pot. Okay, and he agreed to stop. Okay. He agreed that, yes, he also did not want to move forward in life like that. And now I just want to say, like, I know a lot of people smoke pot and there's, you know, a lot of different uses for it that are medicinal. And so I'm not here to judge anybody who smokes pot, but I don't want that in my life. Okay. There's one thing to use something as medicine and then there's another to use it as a crutch. Okay. So he lied essentially to me for 5 years after my son was born. I thought that I didn't know that he was still smoking. And about 5 years later, my friends told me that he was still smoking. And, you know, I guess at that point in my life, I could have been like, well, this person is not honest. This would be a good time to move on. But I was afraid. Okay. Like most women at this point, I had I wasn't working, right? I was a stay-at-home mom with this child. And of course, I was also in love with this man. Okay. Truth be told, I was in love with him. And because we were so opposite in so many ways, this is actually what causes sexual attraction is this, you develop a friendship with somebody that you're a lot alike, right? And then you have a sexual attraction to somebody that you're a lot different from, okay? Because opposites attract in that sexual way. And people who are similar attract more in the, friendship way. I just allowed things to continue to go on because of that strong, I believe, sexual connection. Honestly, that is what I feel like kept us together for that long. There was, like I said, no emotional connection. Okay. Not no emotional connection, but it was more, I used to say, even in the early days of our relationship, that I felt like we were running a business together, right? That it was like, you do this and I'll do that, right? It's just like, running tasks in a business rather than like a family who does things together and has fun. And you have conversations with your partner. Imagine that, right? In all of those years, there were almost no gifts. I won't say none. Okay. I actually went to I went to California once, came back and there was a kitten. Okay. That was actually the best gift ever because I'm an animal lover. But just in general, there was no celebration of birthdays. There was no celebration of anniversaries. He never took me on a date ever. Okay. He never cooked me a meal. Okay. I'd ask him to lock the doors at night so I could feel safe. He wouldn't do that. It was like pulling teeth to get him to do the dishes, take out the garbage. Okay. I felt like I had a third child. And I did not have the benefits of the romantic side of a relationship. Okay. So I felt like totally unnurtured. And I was carrying more weight in the relationship. Okay. When you're a person who likes to work hard and you like to be creative, and then you're with somebody who is very messy, very lazy, unmotivated, and, can't do the simple things like, take out the garbage without being asked, or, cut the lawn without being asked, or anything literally without being asked. Okay. It gets exhausting, right? Because mentally you're taking care of everything. So even if I could get him to do something, I still felt like I was carrying the weight of it because I had to use my own energy to motivate him. Okay. And it was exhausting. It was freaking exhausting. Okay. Just having somebody there, to talk to would have made it so much better. You can overlook a lot when you have that connection part, right? Because, all men have their things that men do, okay, that are typical for men. But I felt like I was getting all the drawbacks, but none of the benefits of being in a relationship, okay? And I didn't want to face that, right? I just, I knew I needed to leave him. I knew that I deserved better, but I was too scared about what was my future going to look like. I'd already spent so much time with this person. What was my future going to look like? Okay. So my body started freaking out. Okay. It went into, one of the things I was doing was putting a lot of focus into my work, right? Because, when you're not getting nurtured in a relationship and that person isn't there for you, you focus in other ways to get your needs met, right? So, I could get significance and connection by working, right? By having the satisfaction of accomplishing something creative or working with a client and them appreciating me, right? Because I wasn't getting appreciated at home. Okay. It just really was a difficult time, right? I'm the kind of person who loves to, create experiences, okay? This man would get upset if it was a birthday or Christmas or something, if I would buy gifts for my kids, if I would make a birthday cake or, want to make a special meal for an occasion, because he had such an intense lack consciousness that he would be upset with me about how much money I spent on groceries, not happy that I was creating a family experience, okay? Because he wasn't a family man. He did not prioritized family first. He prioritized himself and whatever he felt like doing in the moment first. And a lot of times that was coming home from work and going to sleep. Okay. Imagine having little toddlers and being alone all day, and then your partner comes home and they go straight to bed to have a nap after work. Okay. That was my life. So this chronic stress really impacted my adrenals. Okay. And when you have a lot of cortisol, high cortisol, you end up with high insulin. And what is insulin? Insulin is a fat storage hormone. Okay, so I just went into massive, I wasn't changing anything on the outside, and my body was going, something is wrong, you need to do something. Okay, it was waking me up to what wasn't right in my life. Okay, it still took a few years before I was willing to tell myself the truth and willing to, accept whatever the consequences of divorce would be. Okay, still took me quite a while. But I knew that my weight gain wasn't just about anything to do with food. Honestly, actually, when it happened, I couldn't even believe it had anything to do with food because I was eating a whole foods diet, right? So actually, one of the major things that I was aware of at that time was something is not right in my world. And my body is reflecting this back to me. Okay. So I'm just going to go back now to my little slides here for you. Okay. All right. Okay. So to summarize, I was in an unfulfilling and very depressing marriage. I became a workaholic because that's where I got significance, and I enjoyed myself creatively. I was carrying the majority of the weight in the relationship, and my spirit was shrinking to fit my husband's limited view of the world. Okay. And my body was enlarging to bring attention to that. Okay. When you're in a relationship with somebody who is not willing to elevate to the level that you want to, that person is dragging you down. Okay. And you're never going to get where you want to go. I mean, I don't have time to make this all about what I've learned about marriage, obviously, okay? But, if that's something that you're struggling with, and that is part of why you have trouble letting go of the weight or why you gained weight in the first place, you can trust that working with me, I understand what you're going through. And I know what it's like to be in a situation like this, and I know what the fallout is like and how hard that is too. But I also know that it's worth it. Okay, and that you're worth it. Not everything in life is easy. We do, unfortunately, have to have breakdowns before we have breakthroughs. Okay, so how did I end up getting myself back from the situation? Okay, so first of all, I learned how to eat for pleasurable weight loss so that I never felt deprived. Okay, and I found that I actually enjoyed the food better than I ever had enjoyed food before because I felt satiated. And I wasn't constantly having to be in the kitchen making meals because of the balance that it was bringing to my blood sugar. Okay? That's one of the reasons why people constantly snack is because they have blood sugar issues. Okay? I gave myself what he would not give me. Okay? So I put myself first, and I gave myself the attention that I deserved. I started making the most of how beautiful I already was. I didn't wait till I was skinny to start taking care of myself like I was already. I was acting as though I was already a beauty queen, okay? The way I took care of myself, okay? I have straight hair. You see it's curly right now, okay? When I curl my hair, that's an act of self-love. Okay? It's me deciding I'm doing this for me. I don't need to have a man tell me that I'm beautiful, although I like that, right? I do like that, but I'm not gonna wait till I have that man to adorn myself and take care of myself and feel beautiful, okay? You can feel beautiful right now at any weight, okay? It's all about how you take care of yourself and adorn yourself and deepen into your femininity. You can have it now, okay? Because that's what you're looking for, right? Is to feel beautiful on the inside and the outside, and you get to have it right now. Okay? I did the things that I'd been telling myself that I couldn't do until I let the weight go, okay? So for a lot of years, I was totally resistant to going to the beach and going to, anything that involved a bathing suit. Okay. And I just decided this weight is not going to be the thing that holds me back. I'm just going to go now and start doing, what I want to do without that as an excuse. And that's actually part of the catalyst for letting the weight go, because we all have something inside of us, like those excuses that we make up. And those excuses are actually to keep us stuck and held back, right? And we'll do stuff like that. We'll stop ourselves from having pleasure and enjoyment in life until we get somewhere else. And then unfortunately what happens is the future just keeps getting pushed forward and you never get to what you want. So you just choose to have it now. Okay. I finally told myself the truth about what I really wanted and what was stopping me from going for it. So I got really clear on the life that I wanted to live and the kind of relationship that I wanted to have. And then I told myself the truth, which was, if I stay with this person, I'm never going to have that. Okay. And it's not because, I don't believe it's possible to have it with that person. However, that person doesn't want to do the work. Okay. I've already put 20 years in. I don't need to put another 10 in. Okay. And what was really stopping me from going for it was fear of security. And at the end of the day, I had to admit to myself that not only is that not loving to myself, okay, but that's also not loving to him. Okay. It is not loving for me to not live my dream life from a place of needing security. Okay. That's not the right reason to stay in a relationship. I gave myself permission to dream bigger than I ever had before, right? Right now, you may be having goals in your life that are based on what you think is possible with the person that you're with right now, or the situation that you're in, or the job that you're in, okay? That is not your dream life. To have dreams based on the limitations of somebody else, that's a limited life. You did not come here to live limited by somebody else's standards being lower than yours. So I started to see myself as I desired to see myself, not as things were currently. Okay, so the way I carried myself and held myself, and what I decided to do with myself and how I decided to take care of myself, was also from the feeling that I am beautiful now. Okay, so it wasn't just what I ate. It wasn't just the decisions I made, the emotional baggage that I worked on, the inner work that I did. It's also the picture that I held of myself and how I chose to act from that picture. Okay, so if you haven't already seen the before and after, here it is. Okay, size 16 to size 6. Okay. And if you see some of the pictures, and I didn't put them all in the slideshow, I literally looked like 10 years older. Okay, not so much in this really chubby picture, honestly, because when you chub out, the wrinkles get reduced. So I do kind of look young in that picture. But about a couple of years later, when I was still struggling, right? There was a point where I went down to 155, and then I went back up to 166 in that picture that I'm, wearing that red shawl. And there was pictures of me that I was seeing. My mom came to town. She took one. My students, I had this one very young, thin student have a picture taken with me. And I just thought, oh my God, I look like my grandma beside her. It was just, I could see that I just didn't have that life force anymore. Because when I was with that guy, I felt like my future was going to be just more of the same old shit, honestly. Okay. So how about you? Would you like to let go of more than just the weight? Okay. Not just the physical weight, but the weight of the world that you're carrying on your shoulders, and start living the life that you desire instead of one settled for? I bet that's what you want. I bet that's what called you to this training. Okay, so in order to do that, we have to deal with the stress in your life. Some of the stress in your life has to do with the food you're eating. And of course, we deal with that. Okay, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go through this training. We're getting close to the end. I know it's a little long. But let me just explain to you why stress is the cause of your weight gain, because I really think it's important that when you choose a path that you understand why it works, because that's what I feel motivates people. Personally, I won't do something unless I understand how it works. Okay, so I sort of alluded to this already. Stress causes an increase in cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone that is related to your fight or flight response. Okay, it helps you to run when you need to run. Okay, unfortunately though, most of our stressors in the modern age, and all these things I've been talking about from my experience, and I'm sure you can relate in your life, are chronic stress. Okay, so if you have chronically high levels of cortisol in your body due to chronic stress, you are constantly stimulating a hormone called insulin. Okay? You've probably heard of insulin in relation to diabetes, but you do not have to have diabetes to have high insulin. Okay? Having high insulin is the precursor to being officially diabetic. And way too many people are pre-diabetic and have no idea about it. Okay? And if you cannot let go of the weight, I guarantee that you have high insulin. Okay? Even if you don't think you do. I was the person as well who was like, this conversation does not apply to me. I do not eat any concentrated sources of sugar. I'm a health nut and blah, blah, blah. Okay? So I did not believe that sugar was an issue in my life. Okay? But you can stimulate insulin, like just as though you ate sugar, by having stress. Okay? And when you have high insulin, you're constantly storing fat. You are, even when you do eat anything that's sugar, it is turning into fat. So we have to look at more than just what your diet is. And for a lot of people, the diet they're eating is one of the stresses that's also increasing cortisol and raising insulin. Okay? So a lot of people are eating foods that are not real foods, and they're full of toxins. And when you have toxins in your fat cells, because your liver has decided, like, well, these toxins are dangerous, so we better put them somewhere safe. So it gets put in your fat cells. And that's another reason why your body might want to hold on to the weight and not let it go, is because of toxicity in your life or diet. Okay? So we got the toxic part of it, that's increases stress, the emotions, the limiting belief systems, of the situations you feel trapped in your life, all those keep you in a chronic state of cortisol. And so does the food that you're eating. And then what happens is your cortisol gets high, you stay in a state of chronic stress, that raises your insulin and causes you to have fat storage and also throw your hormones off. Okay, so then that becomes a revolving cycle. Okay, you've probably heard of hormonally driven weight gain. It does not respond to counting calories. Okay, but it does respond to the approach that I take. Okay, so, and the beauty is that you can do this totally naturally. You don't have to have any protein powders. You don't have to have any protein bars. You don't have to like skip meals. You don't have to, starve yourself. There's no pills you have to take. Okay. You can do this literally by working just with diet and lifestyle and emotional work. Okay. So it doesn't require willpower, right? Once you put the right things in place in your life, you don't have to fight against yourself, because you fill in your nutritional gaps and suddenly behaviors change. Okay, I'll give you an example. If you have an essential fatty acid deficiency, which by the way, you need to have optimal amounts of EFAs if you want your metabolism to function properly. If you're not getting those fats in your diet, you're going to crave greasy food, right? It's going to be almost impossible for you to pass over some French fries because you're craving fat, right? And it's going to make you have emotional imbalances, right? You're going to be moody and depressed, and that's going to cause you to emotionally eat. Now, we could try to use willpower to stop all that, and it won't last. You know that, right? But if we fill in the gap nutritionally, those habits just fall away, no effort, okay? You're going to be able to do this without giving up any rich, sweet, creamy comfort foods you love. Because like I told you, if I were to sum up how I let go of the weight on a physical level, I ate fat to let go of fat. Okay? And so you're going to feel more satiated than you've ever felt in your life. And you're going to be able to have a ton of pleasure. Okay? There are alternative sweeteners that are completely natural, that have no impact on your blood sugar, have no impact on, they have no calories. Okay? So you get to still have the sweet, rich, creamy comfort foods you love without having any sugar. You're not going to have to count calories, carbs, protein, or fat grams. Okay? And you don't even have to exercise. Honestly, I don't even recommend much more than doing something like, Kalinetics or yin yoga or, walking until you actually get to a healthy weight. I personally feel that that's not good for your body. It's a stress in your body, and it also raises cortisol. Okay. Have you ever experienced that you starve yourself and you exercise like crazy and you can get off maybe 10 pounds and then suddenly you start eating normally, or you stop exercising for a bit, suddenly you gain the weight back and more, and then you're suddenly actually just restricting your calories and exercising to maintain your weight and not gain it, and you're already overweight, yet your friend is eating way more than you and not exercising even half as much as you are, and they're skinny but you're fat? That's called high cortisol. That's called adrenal exhaustion. That is called stress, hormonally induced weight gain that will not budge. Okay. So no, you do not have to exercise to let go of the weight. But I will tell you, as you come into balance, what will happen is you will start to enjoy exercise when you didn't before. Okay. But in no way do you have to exercise on this program to lose weight. Losing weight is more about your hormonal harmony and letting go of the stuff that is stressing you out, okay, and bringing that high insulin down. Okay. So if this approach resonates with you, I want to share with you how I can help. Okay. So every single person is unique, right? So what I do is a personalized assessment to see which of your organ systems are most out of balance. So we can see what the cause is on a personal level of why you in particular are having a hard time letting go of the weight on the physical level. I also provide ongoing coaching, okay, so that you actually get the support and the accountability that you need. Okay, because for a person who has struggled with their weight, this is not an area in which you can do it yourself, right? Because if you could, you would have already done it. So if that's not working for you, the next step is actually getting the help that you need. Having somebody by your side who can hold your hand through it, who can, give you the mindset support that you need when you start to feel like you want to give up, okay? Help you get through the plateaus that we inevitably experience on our journey. Help you let go of the limiting beliefs that you can't even see you have, and dropping that emotional baggage, right? Because the thing is about emotional baggage is that stuff we want to stuff down, right? So even if you get that you need to do that, you're not going to do it on your own because you don't want to feel those feelings. That's why you've been stuffing them down, right? So we all need that, and I'm not asking you to do anything that I haven't done, okay? I worked with coaches myself for all of these reasons, to support myself to actually do the work, right? Because knowing what to do and doing the work, those are two things. Just because you know what to do doesn't mean that, all you do is you know what to do, okay? You know how to do it, but you don't know it until you've done it, right? Okay, so here's the pillars of the Weightless program, okay? So this is my private coaching program for women who really want to go all the way and lose more than just the physical weight, but the emotional weight too, and create their dream life. Okay, so we focus on diet, lifestyle, mindset, and dream design. Okay, because you are not just here, like I said earlier, to be beautiful and be a fixture in somebody else's idea of how life should be. Okay, you're here to design your own dream life, and that is part of it. Okay, that is part of doing the work of what needs to get done in your life to have the life that you want to live, to keep you out of a chronic state of stress. Because every moment that you know that you're not living the life that you were meant to live, you're in a chronic state of stress, because your soul is screaming to be let loose, for you to be yourself, to live on your own terms. That is, human nature. Okay. So my private coaching program is for you if you're ready to get honest with yourself, okay? If you're willing to transform your diet and lifestyle permanently. Okay, this is not a quick fix, although I do have a certain portion of the program that we can do for those of you who want to lose weight quickly. Okay, it's a cleanse, and the weight will stay off permanently because we are actually going to be able to get those toxins out of your fat cells. So your body will release that fat permanently. It's the only way to lose weight quickly without it coming back, right? Because fad diets, they don't actually change your physiology. They just force your physiology, right? So as soon as you start eating your old diet, you just, you gain the weight back. Okay. But the cleanse actually creates deeper healing in your body. So you now create a new set point for your weight. Okay. You have to be willing and excited to make new choices. Okay. You have to be the kind of person who's excited to explore new foods, and you are wanting to create a new experience in your life. If you're somebody who is resistant, who doesn't like change, who doesn't like trying new foods, this is not for you. That's gonna frustrate me, honestly. I want to work with people who are like people who seek new experiences, okay? Because then you're not going to be in a state of resistance to what you need to do in order to have what you really want, okay? You're the kind of person who wants to have the best from life, right? And you believe that you can have it. Then I know you're like me. I know we're going to have a great time working together. I'm going to look forward to working with you. I'm going to be excited about our sessions together because I know that we're alike, and it's like we're going to be friends, right? My idea of, being able to serve someone is to love them, right? So I only want to work with people who I genuinely have a heart connection with. And you should only ever work with a practitioner that you feel that way, right? So if you've come this far and you intellectually like my approach, but you don't get a feel on the heart level that I'm the right person for you, then don't apply for this program, okay? Look for somebody else who has a similar approach to me, but who you resonate more with, okay? You are the kind of person, okay, my ideal client, if you want to be the most beautiful, healthy version of yourself possible, and you're done settling, okay? You're all about living your life to the fullest, okay? We're going to have a great time together, okay? And your life is going to change. And of course, you have to be willing to do the work, okay? I don't want to just sit here and talk about your life changing. I want you to come back to your sessions having implemented what we've talked about, taken action, and actually transformed, okay? That it's really important to do that, okay? I won't feel satisfied, and neither will you at the end of our time working together if you don't get the results, okay? We might enjoy each other's company, but that's not what you're here for, right? You're here to transform your life, okay? So make sure you're the kind of person who's willing to do the work, that you're not just coming to hang out with me, okay? Because I want you to get results. All right. So how do you apply? You go to this link. It's at my website, nutritionwisdom.ca/weightless. Okay. And at this link, there's an application form where you can fill out the answers to some questions. I'm actually just going to change this here now so I can be back eye to eye with you. Skip. How do I do this? Don't you just love technology? Come on. It's being silly. Oh, here we go. Well, oh, okay. There we go. I think it is showing the right spot now. Make sure that we're not on screen share. No, okay, cool. I wonder if we were on screen share for that little bit there. Anyhow, all you have to do is go to my website, nutritionwisdom.ca/weightless, okay, and apply to speak with me. Why are we going to have this conversation? Because I want to make sure that this program is the right fit for you. And I want to make sure that you and I connect, because we're going to be working together, right, for a period of time. And I want you to look forward to your sessions, and I want to look forward to your sessions. So I want to take the time to make sure that we're a good fit and that the program is actually a match to what you're seeking and will work for you before we actually commit to working with one another. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed this training. Below this video, there will also be a link if you didn't catch that and write it down, where you can go to apply. And I totally look forward to getting behind the screen, because it's going to be just like this. You're going to see me here. We're going to do either Skype or on Zoom, and we're going to be able to connect face to face. And you're going to be able to share with me what's up for you, what you think has been keeping you stuck, and we'll talk about what your next steps are going to be so that you can let go of more than just the weight. All right, we'll see you on the call. Bye for now.